Hi, I'm Chef Dawn Ludwig. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm the chef behind the recipes in the best-selling book, Always Hungry. And today, I'm going to walk you through some of the prep day recipes and give you some tips and guidance for starting this transformational journey. We're going to start by talking about a few goals I had when developing the recipes. First, restaurant quality food. I want flavors that are delicious, that are worth eating. I'm first and foremost a foodie, and that's what I want to bring to your kitchen. 2, I'm a busy working mom, so I want recipes that are quick and easy to make. Now, part of that means we're going to do some prep day, and I'm going to walk you through that today. We're going to make some of the sauces and see what prep day looks like. Number 3, wide variety. I want a wide variety of flavors for you to choose from. I know that everyone's tastes aren't the same. So if you have recipes that you particularly love, incorporate them into your regular routine. Use them more often, substitute them, repeat them. I encourage you to try all of the recipes though. It's important because this program not only retrains your fat cells, it also retrains your taste buds. So you might find that some of the dreaded recipes that didn't look good in the beginning, once you eat them, they become your favorites. This has happened over and over with our pilot program participants and with the people in our Facebook group. Recipes they thought they didn't like are now recipes that they love. So give them a try. Number 4, I've spent the last 20 years as a natural food chef who specializes in food allergies. One of the most important things for me in these recipes is to have them accommodate everyone's needs. All of my recipes, you're going to notice, will have vegetarian options, often dairy-free options, egg-free options. You'll also see a chart on page 154 in the book that helps guide you through making substitutions. Make these recipes your own. So let's start cooking. The first recipe we're going to make has been a favorite amongst our readers. It's called the Ranchero sauce. We're going to start by just heating some oil. I'm going to turn on my little burner here. Now remember, we're no longer afraid of fat, so I'm going to use about a 1/4 cup of oil here. This is what's going to keep you full and satisfied. As a chef, give me fat to use in a recipe and I'm completely happy. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some vegetables. Now I know that not everybody is adept in the kitchen with a knife. It's something that you might practice, maybe invest some time and some knife skills, but I'm going to give you a lot of times where we're going to let your tools do the work. So I've got some peppers here. I'm just going to chop these into big chunks. Now this recipe is pretty forgiving. You'll notice that I have 2 onions here. It calls for a large onion, but I'm going to use 2 small ones to substitute. Also, you might choose different peppers. If you want it to be a little more mild, choose an Anaheim instead of a poblano pepper. Maybe use fewer jalapenos. But remember that as you cook these, they're going to get milder and mellow out. Now remember, when you're working with peppers, you want to be careful to wash your hands. And if you want them to be a little more mild, take out the veins and the seeds. Otherwise, you can leave the veins and seeds in. Once I have them in big chunks, even my garlic, I'm going to use it whole. And then I'm going to put them in the food processor. Let your tools do the work for you. There are a few tools that you'll find I use a lot in my kitchen. We're going to use them today. Now, if you are someone who loves chopping and wants to mince these all yourself, go ahead. But we're going to need finely minced vegetables. And again, make this recipe your own. Make it as spicy or as not spicy as you want. So I'm going to turn on the food processor and let it mince. Great. Now, I don't need it to be perfect because I'm also going to use my hand blender later. So I'm going to take my spatula here. You can see the oil starting to heat up. Use my handy spatula to get all of this out of here nicely. See how beautiful that is? See it sizzling in the oil? The other thing this sauce does is it's going to make your kitchen smell great. And we're going to saute this until the onions just get soft. May take 5 or 10 minutes. While it's sauteing, we're going to do some other things. Isn't that easy? Really quick. I'm going to wash my food processor, but that's really all it takes. All right. While that cooks, we're going to make one of our other sauces. Now the next sauce we're going to do is called a Thai peanut sauce. This is another favorite. And one of the things that I did with this sauce is I tried to avoid refined sugar. Now Thai peanut sauce is usually laden with sugar, but today we're going to use oranges, or in today's case, tangerines, to make it delicious. Look at these beautiful ingredients. We've got some peanut butter. In the recipe, it calls for a large orange. I just had these really small little mandarins, and so I'm going to use 4 of those. You could use a couple of medium-sized tangerines, but really just whatever you've got. Again, these recipes are versatile. The next thing I'm going to show you, though, is I'm going to use a piece of fresh ginger. Now, so many people are intimidated by ginger. Having to grate it and then squeeze the juice, it's a lot of trouble, and it's just no fun. So I developed a way to use fresh ginger where you don't have to do all of that fuss, and it involves a spoon. So what we're going to do is we're really just going to take the outer skin off the ginger. You'll notice how it just peels just the skin. Can you see that? And see how easily it just slides off. Just going to get all of that peel. I need only about ½ inch of ginger. So I'm going to cut this off. And again, just get it really nice. And then, once again, I'm going to let my tools do the work. Beautiful. Now I'm just going to cut it into a few thin pieces. Let's see if we can cut this into a few thin pieces. That way we don't have much pulp. I'm going to put it in my jar and work with my immersion blender. So Thai peanut sauce, like I said, we're going to let the oranges bring the sweetness. We're going to put a little brown rice vinegar, a touch of salt, a little cayenne. Again, make it as spicy as you like. You might want a little extra cayenne. You might not want as much. Turn these recipes into the ones that you like. Put a little lime juice, a little soy sauce, and then of course our peanut butter. Now remember to look at the labels on your peanut butter. Peanut butter is notorious for having sugar and other ingredients to it. But you can get peanut butter that has no added sugar and no added oils. Then a little bit of water. All our ingredients are in. Now, as a chef, I know how to make fancy sauces, and I could spend all day in the kitchen making some really incredible sauces. However, in my home kitchen, it's just not going to happen. I don't have all those sous chefs helping me out, sauciers. So, what I'm going to do, most of my sauces are going to be made just with a jar and an immersion blender, just like I'm showing you. It shouldn't take but a few minutes. Get your ingredients in, take your immersion blender. These are fantastic in the kitchen, and you're going to use it a lot in this program. I'm just going to put it in here. Now, I've got some big chunks with the ginger and the tangerines. So I'm just going to work it. Now, remember those ginger pieces that I put in? There was no grating and squeezing the juice. It's all in there. And the pulp actually adds a little bulk to the sauce. Now look at that. Got this nice sauce. I'm going to just rinse my immersion blender, and I'm ready for the next sauce. Then all you do, you put a lid on, no dishes to do, you put it in your refrigerator and you're ready to go. For this particular sauce, when I'm ready to use it on, say, day 3, day 4, whatever time I'm ready to make the Thai peanut, I'm going to take a little bit of chicken or tofu or tempeh, whatever protein that I want. I'm going to saute it. I'm going to add some vegetables. I'm going to pour my sauce in, and I've got dinner once the vegetables are bright. Quick and easy. Making this sauce ahead of time is going to save you all the time in the world and give you restaurant quality flavors. So let's get back to our Ranchero sauce. These have been sauteing here nicely. They're soft. Now I'm going to add in some diced tomatoes. I'm using fire roasted tomatoes right now, but you can use just regular diced tomatoes. Again, these recipes are very forgiving. I'm going to pour in the tomatoes. Beautiful, right? I'm going to pour in some green chilies. Again, use mild green chilies if you want to make it a little milder, medium spicy, or hot if you want it extra hot. And they're going to mellow. You'll be surprised at how much that happens. I'm going to put a little salt, a little pepper. I'm going to use something called Mexican oregano. You can use regular oregano, but I find many of the stores have Mexican oregano now. It's just got a little more of a spicy flavor than oregano has, and it works so well with some of these Mexican recipes when you're using chilies. So do you see this? I'm just going to stir all of this in. You could add, if you find at the end it's not spicy enough for you, add a dash of cayenne. Really make it the way you want it. With the olive oil in here, it's going to be a nice, rich, thick sauce. So you see it's a little chunky now. I'm going to let this simmer while we make some of our other recipes. And at the end, I'm going to use that immersion blender to get it a little bit creamier. Still a little bit of a chunky sauce, but I want it to go nicely over the top of our eggs when we make those Huevos Rancheros. You'll also find that this recipe works well with so many things. In the book, there's a Ranchero chicken where you pour it over chicken and just bake it. You could do that with fish, make it a fish Veracruz. You can also, if you're allergic to eggs, you can use the pan-fried tofu from the recipe book, and you can use that instead of your eggs for your Huevos Rancheros. The options are limitless. So we're going to go to our next recipe. This one is called creamy lime cilantro. I really love this recipe. You'll use this one a few times. One of the times we do black bean tofu hash, which is another favorite. Surprisingly, people who thought they didn't like tofu love it. We're going to use that for breakfast. Then we're going to use it as a taco salad for lunch. Again, these recipes and meal plans are going to teach you to use leftovers to create good habits in the kitchen. So with this one, I'm going to again use a little garlic. Now, remember, I'm going to continue to let the tools do the work. I like a lot of cilantro, so I've got quite a big bunch here. I'm just going to cut it into coarse pieces, not a whole lot of mincing or chopping. I'm going to put it right here in my little jar. I'm going to mix in some lime juice, some water, some salt, then I'm going to get my handy little spatula here, put an avocado. You can even use avocados that are a little bruised. These are going to get mixed up, so the softer and creamier the better. And last, I'm going to add some flax oil. I love flax oil because it's really high in omega-3s. It's a very distinct flavor, so it pairs really well with herbs like cilantro. And now we're going to do just what we did before. Again, take our immersion blender. We're going to have to work this one a little bit more because we've got the big chunks of cilantro. Again, feel free to chop it smaller if you want. Put this nice. This sauce is going to be a little thicker. If you want to thin it out a little bit, just add a little more water and adjust the salt to taste. Now look at how smooth and creamy that is. You can use this as a salad dressing or on top of eggs. You could put it on top of your ranchero sauce if you wanted. We're going to use it for the taco salad, like I said. So again, this beautiful sauce. And how long did that take us? Not too long. The other great thing is, remember, a lid on it, no dishes. My second sauce is done. You'll see on prep day we have lots of sauces to make. Don't be overwhelmed. They're quite easy, as you can see. So once again, we're going to clean off our immersion blender. And now we're back to our ranchero sauce. Look at how beautiful that is. I love all these colors too, the yellows and the greens. We're going to use our immersion blender. Now, make sure that the immersion blender is deep enough in your pot to be able to blend without it splattering everywhere. I'm just going to pulse it a few times. I made that mistake with blueberry sauce once when I was making it here in my kitchen. I had blueberries everywhere. So make sure it's deep enough for your immersion blender. So you see why we didn't need the perfect minced vegetables? We're fixing it now. Whoop, look, I'm splattering everywhere. See what I said? There you go. Our sauce is done. So while you're making your other sauces, you can get your ranchero sauce perfectly done. Now the last one we're going to make is a basic mayo. Now, mayo is something that traditionally has sugar in it. So I wanted to give options for doing a mayo. And the other option that I wanted to do is show you how easy it is to make a mayo without eggs and without dairy if you need it. So this is going to be a quite simple one. Just a few ingredients. Mayo is so easy. We're going to start with a little milk or soy milk. Make sure it's unsweetened. For this particular recipe, almond milk doesn't work as well. It doesn't set up as well. Now, you could do this with an egg if you wanted to. I just didn't want to be responsible for everyone using raw eggs in your kitchen. If you are pregnant or elderly or for young children, just be careful using raw eggs if you choose to go that route. I'm going to put a little white wine vinegar, a little lemon juice. People say, doesn't that curdle the milk? I'm going to use it so fast it doesn't matter. A little salt. Now, there are a few different ways that you can do this. I've made this hundreds of times, and I never have trouble getting it to emulsify. If you want to pour these in as you're blending, you can do that. Usually, if I'm doing a very small batch like this, I'll just put my olive oil and my neutral tasting oil. I like to use avocado oil. Now, the olive oil is going to give it a little bit of a zippier taste. It's not going to hold together as well in the refrigerator, though. tends to solidify a little bit with the olive oil. So if you don't want that zippier taste, use all neutral tasting oil. I think it's 1/3 of a cup of one and 1/4 cup of the other. Just use both neutral tasting oils and you should be fine. If you find that you blend this and it doesn't set up right like mayo, add a little extra soy milk or regular milk to it. Keep blending and it should be fine. So again, I'm going to take my immersion blender, stick it in the bottom, lift it as I'm pulsing. Look at that, perfect mayo consistency. Isn't that beautiful? Now, how fast was that to make sugar-free mayo? It's so simple. Really blend it a few times to get it all incorporated. And once again, no dishwashing. We're just going to put a lid on it. This mayo keeps for quite a while in the fridge and you can use it for lots of recipes. We use it for our tartar sauce in the book. You can use it for just about anything and make it your own. This is a great base recipe. Add a little bit of dill or some garlic. Add some extra lemon or lime. Turn it into an aioli. Really some beautiful things that you can do with this mayo. Can you see that? That is a perfect mayo. So let's put the lid on this one. And let's see what we do with the Ranchero sauce. How simple is that, right? Okay, so next we're going to look at day one. What do you do for breakfast, day one? Your breakfast is going to be Huevos Rancheros. Now, again, you remember you can make this less spicy if you want. Huevos Rancheros are a particularly wonderful dish. We're going to turn on the stove back here. I'm going to get a couple of eggs out of the refrigerator. Now I've done an egg and 2 egg whites. In the book, you'll notice that the menu plans are laid out and they tell you what to cook for each person. Now each recipe might be made for 4 or for 2 so that you can use leftovers. But each meal is described per person. So that we're going to be serving this with some raspberries and some whole milk Greek yogurt. So I'm going to put a little oil in the bottom of the skillet. I'm going to slide these eggs and egg whites just right straight into the skillet. Beautiful. Yeah, you can turn it if you want, or you can leave it sunny side up. You can actually just serve it straight out of the pan. That's what we're going to do today. I'm going to spoon some of this Ranchero sauce on top and add a little bit of cheese. We're going to have some raspberries. Again, whole milk Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt's going to have a higher level of protein than regular yogurt, and you want whole milk yogurt. The point here is to get the fat first into your diet. So many people have been told for so many years, no fat, low fat. Really don't listen to it. You might be afraid, but once you find how satisfied you can be and that you're actually losing weight eating this way, you're going to really love it. Because what chef doesn't love fat? All right, so I like my egg to be sunny side up, a little bit runny. And I'm just going to scoop some Ranchero sauce on top of here. The hot sauce will cook the egg a little bit as well. Isn't that beautiful? Can you believe this is diet food? That's another comment I get a lot. I had one pilot program participant, you'll read a lot of the testimonials in the book. I had one who, her husband came in and declared, this cannot be called a diet because there is no deprivation. And it's true, there's no deprivation here. You should be full and satisfied and losing weight at the same time. Just going to put a little bit of cheese. I could also put a few slices of avocado. So here you have it, your first day's breakfast, Huevos Rancheros, restaurant quality food. And how long did that take me? Not long at all. So let's get the raspberries. You'll notice that there's not a whole lot of carbohydrate in here. And in this program, we're not getting rid of any one macronutrient. We're just bringing in slow-acting, good quality macronutrients. The focus is on quality versus on quantity. As a side, you're going to have the beautiful Greek yogurt with the raspberries. Now, this looks like a lot of food. Feel free to eat smaller portions, but because we're hitting a certain macronutrient, you'll want to eat a portion of this and a portion of this. You don't want to leave the carbs out. And you'll notice with dinners, we usually have dessert. Don't skip dessert. Did you ever think you'd hear a diet book author say that? There's no deprivation here. So you have breakfast ready for tomorrow. You have your sauces. You know what to do on prep day. I want to let you know one of the most important things on this journey is what I call my rule number 1, and that is to be gentle on yourself and others. You'll notice as you go through this journey that things won't be exactly right when you cook them in the kitchen, or you might eat things that are off plan. Remember that leaving guilt and shame and blame at the door is as important as what you cook. And if you need support, you'll find our community on Facebook is growing, and David and I interact with our readers on a daily basis, helping guide you and create community as you go. Welcome to the AH journey. May it be a delicious one.